What would you do if the storm outside your home suddenly went silent, and the only thing protecting you from something clawing at your door was a single, trembling candle? Tonight, you will hear the unsettling truth of what waited behind that door. And why the flame refused to die. The wind pressed against the old wooden cabin. The walls trembled with every surge. The single candle on the table flickered in nervous breaths. Lena stood beside it. Her fingers hovered above the wavering flame. The scent of damp earth drifted through the cracks in the window frame. A low rumble traveled through the floorboards. The candlelight quivered across her skin. The air felt swollen, heavy, as if the storm held its breath. She heard a sharp snap outside. Branches scraped along the roof like thin, clawed hands. Her heartbeat thudded louder than the wind. She took a step back. The candle flame stretched upward as though pulled by an unseen force. A cold draft rushed across her neck. She turned toward the door. The handle twitched. Metal clicked softly, as if someone tested it from the other side. Her breath stalled in her throat. Shadows pulled along the corners of the room. The candle bent again, but no wind reached it. A sudden knock echoed through the cabin. One heavy strike, then another. The candle flame froze in a perfect, unmoving spear of light. The storm outside went silent. Even the air refused to move. Lena stepped back from the table. Her skin prickled. Something pressed against the door from the other side. The wood bowed inward. A thin line split along the grain. A pale glow seeped through the crack. She lifted the candle with trembling hands. The flame grew brighter. The glow behind the door grew brighter still. The line widened. The wood groaned. And the thing outside pushed once more. The wood groaned again. The door frame shuddered under the force. Lena held the candle higher, though her arm trembled under the weight of her rising fear. The pale glow spilling through the crack pulsed like a heartbeat. Slow, steady, too steady to belong to anything human. The storm outside remained unnaturally silent. No wind, no rain, no thunder rolling across the sky. It felt as though the entire world waited for the next sound. Lena felt a pressure build beneath her ribs. A subtle push, as if the atmosphere inside the cabin tightened around her body. As if the storm had stepped indoors without opening the door. The crack widened with a sudden snap. A sliver of the outside world came into view. But it was not the forest. It was not the night sky. It was something else. A swirling color like ash and lightning churned beyond the broken wood. Shapes twisted within it, never forming clear silhouettes. They stretched and folded, as if reality bent in silence. Lena tried to step backward, but her heel struck the leg of the table. The candle flame elongated again, reaching toward the door with eerie intent. Wax dripped down the side, cooling almost instantly on the wooden surface. The light behind the door throbbed harder. A low hum vibrated through the beams of the cabin. The air tasted metallic, sharp against her tongue. Then a whisper slid through the crack. Soft, breathless, shaped like a voice that had never learned human sound. Lena's knees weakened. The whisper curled around her ears like cold smoke. Her heart pounded with a rhythm that did not match her breath. Her vision blurred at the edges. She clutched the candle closer to her chest. The flame danced wildly, though no physical wind touched it. It felt aware. It felt alert, as if the small flame recognized the presence pressing against the door. Another whisper seeped into the room. Longer, clearer. It brushed the inside of her mind. A touch like ice sliding down. Bone. She stumbled back, bumping into the far wall. Her hand left a sweaty imprint on the wood. The cabin felt smaller. The shadows stretched toward the door, drawn to the glow as if pulled by invisible threads. The crack tore wider. Wood splinters snapped off and skittered across the floor. The pale glow flooded the room and washed over the ceiling. It dimmed the candlelight, yet the candle refused to go out. Lena forced herself to straighten her spine. Her breaths came sharp and uneven. She raised the candle high again, though her hand shook so violently that drops of wax splattered across her wrist. Shapes inside the glow shifted once more. A long arc of light curled downward. Then another curled to meet it. They formed a pair of lines that resembled the suggestion of eyes. Eyes not made for looking at the world as she knew it. The hum deepened. Boards beneath her feet vibrated. Dust trickled from the rafters. A cold wave rolled across the room, sinking into her skin and settling in her joints. Her breaths shortened. Her thoughts scattered. A memory surfaced in her mind without reason. The warmth of her mother's hand. The glow of a lantern on a quiet riverbank. The safety she once understood. It vanished in the next heartbeat. The glowing shape pressed harder against the door. The crack expanded into a jagged gap large enough to reveal a swirling mass of white fire and shadow. It pulsed with deliberate rhythm, like a living entity searching for a point of entry. The candle flame shot upward. Not a little, not naturally. It rose in a straight line like a thin golden spear. It refused to bend, it refused to flicker. It stood rigid, braced against an invisible pressure. The hum shifted in tone. It felt like a word. A command. A summons. Lena sank to one knee as the air thickened. Her ears rang. Her skin tingled with a sensation like static. Her breath tasted like iron. The mass behind the door curled inward, then surged forward. A portion of it seeped through the gap in thin threads of light. Each thread twisted unnaturally, bending and jerking as if searching for shape. One thread reached toward her. It rippled like a living tendril of fog, drawn irresistibly to the flame in her hands. The candle crackled. The wick glowed brighter than the room around it. She crawled backward, dragging the candle with her. The thread followed. It pulsed once, then twice. Each pulse sent a faint shock through her fingertips, as if the air vibrated in recognition. The cabin walls strained against the force entering through the door. The beams creaked. A long fracture stretched across the ceiling. Dust spilled down in a thin stream. Lena grasped the candle tighter. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears. Her mind screamed to flee, yet her body felt rooted to the floor as if the atmosphere itself refused to let her move. The humming deepened again. It gathered strength. It wrapped around her body until she felt it in her bones. The thread of light inched closer. Its glow reflected in her wide, frightened eyes. The candle flame leaned toward it, almost welcoming it. Not a flicker of fear in the fire. Only a strange, radiant anticipation. The thread hovered inches from the flame. Its surface twisted like a thin membrane stretched over shifting light. It paused. It waited. Then the cabin floor lurched as if something enormous struck the outside wall. The entire structure shook. The thread snapped back with a violent recoil. The hum fractured into a harsh scraping tone. The mass behind the door surged again with renewed force, tearing the wood further. The glow brightened to a blinding white. Shapes churned faster within it, growing taller, sharper, more defined. And the candle in Lena's hand began to burn with a new, unnatural color. A soft blue light bloomed at the edges of the flame. It expanded. It twisted. It reached upward as if responding to the force at the door. Lena felt the heat intensify, though it did not burn her. It surrounded her like a protective shell. It hummed in a tone that matched her own heartbeat. The mass behind the door shifted again. It recoiled slightly. The hum wavered. The glowing shape at its center hesitated. But the pressure did not fade. The storm outside waited in breathless silence. The cabin groaned under the strain. The door shuddered, ready to burst. And the thing beyond the threshold leaned forward once more. Slow, deliberate, unyielding. Drawn toward the candlelight that refused to die, the door finally gave way with a deep, splintering crack. A burst of pale light flooded the cabin. Lena shielded her eyes with her free hand, gripping the candle as if it were the only solid thing left in the collapsing world. The swirling mass advanced, its form shifting through impossible shapes. The hum grew louder, sharper, a vibration that rattled her ribs. But the blue flame flared higher. It rose in a narrow column, brilliant and steady. The warmth wrapped around her body like a protective embrace. The light creature hesitated. Its forward movement slowed. The tendrils of brightness curled and recoiled, as though the flame struck something deep within its core. Lena took a breath. A single, decisive breath. The first strong breath she had taken since the storm had gone silent. She stepped forward. The candle lifted from trembling arms to a firm, unwavering grip. The blue flame reached toward the creature with quiet, unyielding strength. The creature shrank away from it. Not in fear, not in anger, but in recognition, as though the flame reminded it of something ancient. Something it had once known. The hum softened. The threads of light loosened. The storm outside began to breathe again. Lena raised the candle higher. The flame brightened, spilling gold and blue across the cabin walls. The shifting mass wavered, then slowly began to fold inward. The light receded through the broken doorway. Each step back unraveled another strand of its impossible form. The forest came into view again beyond it. Dark, wet, quiet. A final ripple flashed through the creature's core. It flickered like a lantern guttering in the wind. Then it vanished into the night with a soft, sighing tremor. The door hung broken on its hinges. The wind returned, rustling the leaves outside. Thunder rolled distantly, gentle now, almost apologetic. Lena lowered the candle. The blue edge of the flame faded back to warm gold. Her breathing steadied. Her heartbeat softened. She looked around the shattered cabin. The cracks in the walls. The splintered boards. The lingering warmth of the candlelight drifting across the floor. The storm had not taken her. The darkness had not claimed her. Something had protected her. Something had answered the flame. She walked to the ruined doorway. The forest loomed quietly under the clearing sky. The air smelled of rain and renewal. Lena held the candle close to her chest. Its glow pulsed gently, calm and alive. A small flame that had faced the storm. And remained. She stepped into the night. The candle lighting her path. As the last echoes of the strange, shimmering presence faded into peaceful silence,